Hello everybody, Terry back again with another video, and today's video guys is going to be about talking about Rafael Nadal. Who is Rafa's biggest challenger in French Open? That is the big question here. I did a video about this topic earlier this year. Who is Rafa's biggest challenger? I don't know if you guys remember that video, but I did one 4 or 5 months ago. And I feel that I need to do another one and talk about this topic, because this topic is very interesting, because we have never seen a player like Rafael Nadal dominating a tournament like he does in French Open. Both on women's side and men's side. Never have we ever seen before in the past someone winning a tournament 13 times like he has done in French Open. So, and who has the biggest chance of taking him down for the third time in his career, because we all know he has only lost 2 matches there in the past. And when I did a video about this topic a couple of months ago, the player I mentioned who has the biggest chance of taking Rafael Nadal down in French Open for the third time, you who saw that video remember which player I mentioned, and that player was Novak Djokovic. And the question is, do I still believe Novak Djokovic is that player who will take Rafael Nadal down in French Open for the third time? Because we know that Novak has defeated him 1 time in French Open. He's only one of 2 players who have done that unbelievable achievement back in 2015. Will he be the third? Will he be the third player to do it? Will he give him Rafa his third loss in French Open next year? Oh baby, no, he will not. I have changed my mind. And Novak Djokovic, he has given me the argument to change my mind. After seeing Novak Djokovic getting completely destroyed 2-3 months ago in that French Open final, I am not crazy to believe that Novak Djokovic is Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger in French Open. No, he isn't. How do you defeat Rafael Nadal on a slow surface? How do you do it? 2 ways. It is only 2 ways, none other ways. The other ways doesn't exist. It is only 2 ways, my tennis friends all around the world. And I'm going to tell you which ways. First way is giving Rafael Nadal his own medicine. Taking him down from the baseline. Outlasting him. Have great shot tolerance. Have great endurance. Have great stamina. That's how you take him down. Just not miss. Refuse to miss. Play long rallies. Be willing to suffer. And that was the way Novak took him down in 2015. Unbelievable performance from Novak Djokovic in that match, in that French Open quarterfinal match 5 years ago. Unbelievable. That is the only way. That is not the only way, I'm sorry. That is one of the ways, one of 2 ways. Challenge him from the baseline, outlasting him from the baseline, have great endurance, have great shot tolerance, have great stamina. And Novak Djokovic, he used to have all this in the past. He used to have all this. He was willing to suffer. He was willing to go in long exchanges from the baseline. He was willing to give Rafael Nadal his own medicine, and that's why he defeated him 5 years ago. And don't come with me and say Rafa was not at his best. I bloody well know that Rafa was not at his best. But he still lost. That is what matters. I don't bloody care whatsoever that he was not at his best. So don't come up with me with that kind of BS talk that Rafa was not at his best. I know Rafa was not at his best. I know that, especially his forehand was on a vacation that 2015 season. Rafa's forehand was in a vacation for the entire season. But that doesn't take anything away from Novak Djokovic's performance when he defeated Rafa in that French Open quarterfinal 2015. But the difference is here, but when we analyze Novak Djokovic, he is not the same kind of player. Trust me, guys, he's not the same kind of player. His endurance is not as good as 5 years ago. His stamina is not as good as 5 years ago. His shot tolerance is not good as 5 years ago. His consistency from the baseline is not as good as 5 years ago. He just doesn't have it anymore, because the other way I will go and analyze how to defeat Rafael Nadal on clay. Novak Djokovic doesn't have it. He doesn't have the firepower. Because that is the other way. The first way is to give Rafa his own medicine. Just to refuse to miss, basically. Just to refuse to miss. Just to make him suffer on the court. Which not many players can do, of course. You have to make him suffer. You have to make him doubt on himself. You have to just make the match brutal long. Make the match just a hell for Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal, he needs to feel that he isn't the only wall in the world. And Novak, of course, can make him feel that. In the past, he could make Rafael Nadal feel that. Not so much anymore. We saw the proof in that French Open final 2-3 months ago. Do I need to say more? He completely destroyed the guy. Novak Djokovic was not willing to suffer. All those drop shots, do you think that is a tactical game plan from Novak Djokovic? That is a panic game plan. That is a bailout game plan. That is a let me out of a jail game plan. That is not the way he wants to play. He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have the answer. Rafael Nadal is a wall on clay. Even though he's 34 years old, Novak Djokovic, he isn't a wall. And Novak Djokovic cannot back it up with firepower. We all know that Novak Djokovic serve plus game is not the greatest in the world on clay. It's just not. That's why Rafael Nadal, he completely destroyed him on that department on the serve plus points game. On the serve plus points, Rafael Nadal, he was just superior in that French Open final. Novak, not so much. Because Novak doesn't have the firepower. He cannot create offense. Novak cannot put the ball away. Simple as that. On slow surfaces. He could do that more in the past when he was younger. He had more firepower in his younger days. Not so much. Novak nowadays, he relies on consistency, good serving, good returns, and great depth. And he still has those things. Novak Djokovic is he doesn't have the greatest powerful serve in the world. No, he doesn't. What Novak does good with his serve, which not many people talk about, he is a good spot server. He finds the spots. That's what he does. Trust me. Just analyze his serve. He finds the spots. He's not as good a spot server as Federer, of course not. Who is? Federer is one of the greatest spot servers I have ever seen in my entire life. But Novak Djokovic, he is a better spot server than Rafa Nadal. That's for sure. So Novak, he relies on his serve, he relies on his returns, and he relies on his depth. But those things doesn't work for him on clay, because they just doesn't. Even though that even if he has great depth on clay against a beast like Nadal, it doesn't matter, because Rafael Nadal, he's such a monster in creating offense on clay. Who creates better offense on clay than Rafael Nadal? Have you ever seen a better tennis player creating offense on clay than Rafael Nadal? Just tell me, have we ever seen? Have we ever seen? Of course not. Of course not. Rafael Nadal, he is just a machine in creating offense on clay. From the 0 to 4 shots. He's just unbelievable. Superior. Rafa's serve plus points on clay are just incredible. And Novak's not. So Novak needs fast surfaces. That's why Novak isn't Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger on clay anymore. That's why I believe Novak Djokovic will never beat Rafael Nadal in French Open ever again. He should be proud of himself that he did it once in 2015, and that's it. Novak will not do it anymore. So Novak, he isn't, trust me, Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger in French Open. He isn't. So the other player I'm thinking about, and that is the other way to defeat Rafael Nadal. The other way to defeat Rafael Nadal is firepower, my dear tennis fans. Firepower. And that's what Dominic Thiem has. And that is the player I'm thinking about who is Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger. Dominic Thiem, he's just taking more and more and more and more steps forward in his tennis career. He has become more consistent. He has improved his returns, even though they are not still great, in my opinion. They are decent. He can do much better job on his returns, but they are much better than they were, say, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. He has improved his consistency. He has improved his returns. He has improved his backhand. That backhand that Dominic Thiem has, that is just unbelievable shot. One of the greatest one single backhands that I've ever seen, to be quite honest. At least one of the most powerful backhands that I have ever seen. Dominic Thiem's. So, Dominic Thiem, for me, is Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger in French Open in the future. Because he has the firepower. He can hit through Rafael Nadal's unbelievable wall. And he has the great serve. Even though that serve is not the most important shot on a slow surface like clay, but it is not bad to have a good serve. It is not a bad thing. So he has a good serve, powerful serve. He can handle Rafael Nadal. He can stand with Rafael Nadal from the baseline. He's not afraid of challenging Rafael Nadal from the baseline. He has the firepower from both wings. He really has, both from the backhand and the forehand. The forehand, that is an unbelievable shot. That is an unbelievable shot that Dominic Thiem has. But the problem with Dominic Thiem is that his forehand can sometimes go away from and take a vacation. Dominic Thiem forehand is, many people talk about Dominic Thiem's backhand, that it can be a shot that just doesn't work for him all the times, but his forehand also doesn't always work for him. His forehand can also disappear in matches. He can do a ton of unforced errors with his forehand sometimes. If you look at the match with Medvedev in that ATP Tour finals in London, he actually did more unforced errors with his forehand than he did with his backhand, Dominic Thiem. And we know the answer because Dominic Thiem was barely hitting his backhand. He was only slicing. But anyway, his forehand needs to work as well. But when Dominic Thiem is redlining, when he hits his both wings great, with depth, with power, with consistency, he will take Rafael Nadal in French Open. Trust me, he will do it. Why shouldn't he do that? He is the player who has defeated Rafael Nadal most times on clay after Djokovic. Djokovic has defeated Rafa 7 times. Dominic has defeated him 4 times. The problem is Dominic has defeated Rafa all those times in 3 sets matches outside French Open. So for Dominic, it is all about producing a great 5-set match and holding his ground strokes together and just redlining in a 5-set clay match against Nadal in French Open. And I think that Rafa is not becoming younger. Rafa is becoming older. Dominic is on his prime of his career. He's 27 years old. Rafael Nadal will, sooner or later, he will lose his 3rd French Open match. If he continues playing tennis till he's 37, 38, 39 years old. Rafa, I just have a feeling when Rafa will lose his 3rd match in French Open, he will do that on the hands on Dominic Thiem. And I know, I have said in the past that I don't quite believe that one single-handed backhand can defeat Rafael Nadal in French Open. I have said that in the past, because I remember what I have said. But man, Dominic Thiem's one single-handed backhands, it has more firepower than Roger Federer's. We all know Roger Federer could never handle Rafael Nadal in French Open. I don't want to go in those matches. Stan Wawrinka, he got destroyed in that French Open final 2017 against Rafael Nadal. Dominic Thiem, I know he has faced Rafael Nadal 4 times in French Open, and he has only taken 1 set. That was last year. That 2nd set when he won against Rafael Nadal. So he has lost 12 sets and only won one set against Rafael Nadal in French Open. But it is a different Dominic Thiem nowadays. You cannot compare when Dominic Thiem faced Rafael Nadal for the first ever time in French Open. I think that was back in 2014 that Dominic faced Rafael Nadal for the first ever time in French Open. You cannot compare Dominic Thiem from 2014 to Dominic Thiem from 2020. It is a completely different Dominic Thiem. It is a completely different. It is a complete different animal. 6 years later, guys, trust me. And he will only get better, I guess, I suppose, and I believe he will only get better. And Rafael Nadal, he's still unbelievable difficult to defeat in French Open. Of course he is. But is it someone who has the belief, who has the firepower, who has the consistency, who has the shot tolerance, who has the stamina, who has the endurance? It is, for God's sakes, Dominic Thiem. Forget Djokovic. Just forget him. Djokovic will defeat Rafael Nadal outside clay for sure. But on clay, especially in French Open, Djokovic will never defeat Rafael Nadal anymore. He will not. And I just feel that Dominic Thiem, he has both firepower, which you need, like Söderling did back in 2009 when he defeated Rafael Nadal. How do you believe Söderling defeated Rafael Nadal in 2009? Söderling, he for God's sakes fired 60 winners against Rafael Nadal. 60 winners. Do you know how much that is? To produce 60 winners against Rafael Nadal on clay, you need to have rockets of shots, rocket bombs of shots. You need to serve like a rocket. And Söderling, for God's sakes, he did in that 2009 match. And Dominic Thiem, he is kind of a similar player like Söderling, but with better shot tolerance, with better endurance, with better stamina. And not quite as good of serve as Söderling, of course not. Söderling, he had a better serve than Dominic Thiem. And Söderling, maybe he even had a more powerful ground strokes, maybe, but that can be discussed because Dominic Thiem's ground strokes are pretty powerful as well. So Dominic Thiem, he kind of have both ways. He can play firepower tennis and he can play endurance, stamina, consistency tennis from the baseline. So Dominic Thiem, he is between Söderling and Djokovic. He can play both of these two ways to take Rafael Nadal down. And he can do it. He just needs to hold his game together. He just needs to be focused, and he needs to be well rested. He needs, not like he was last year when he played, 4 or 5 straight days of tennis. And when he played that final against Nadal, he was out of gas. In the third and the fourth set, he only took one game. He was out of gas. But in the first and the second set, he gave Rafael Nadal a hell of a run. So, for me, it is quite obvious that Dominic Thiem is Rafael Nadal's biggest threat in French Open. In French Opens, in the future of French Opens that we will see. When he will defeat him, I don't know. Will he do that next year? You know what? I don't think so. I just don't think. But in 2022, 2023, if Rafael still keeps playing tennis in 2022 and in 2023, and Dominic will be 28, 29, he will be at his absolute peak of his career, and Rafa will be like 36, 37 years old when in 2022 and in 2023. Man, you just imagine Rafa Nadal 37 years old, Dominic Thiem 28, 29 years old. Who will you favor in that kind of match, man? Who will you favor? I will favor Dominic. I just will favor Dominic. When Rafa is 37, 38 years old, he will be slower. He will get less. Man, Father Time will catch Rafa Nadal as well. It catches everybody. It will catch him as well, even though it has taken a long time catching him in French Open, but sooner or later it will catch him as well. And when Father Time will catch Rafael Nadal big times, when he's 36, 37 years old, Dominic Thiem will be ready and he will take him out. Djokovic, forget him. he proved to me, I don't know if he proved that to you, but he for sure proved it to me 3 months ago that he doesn't have anything to do with winning a French Open title again. He will not do it. He will not do it. He won his first and only French Open title 2016, and it will be his last as well. He will not win any more French Open titles than Djokovic. Forget that. Rafael Nadal will lose his 3rd match in French Open if he doesn't retire next year or something, because I still believe Rafael Nadal is a favorite of winning French Open next year. That is my opinion. He's still unbelievable good, and he's still very, very hard to defeat, even though he will be 35 years old next year. But from 2020 and forward, from 2022 and forward, Rafael Nadal will be in big danger of losing his 3rd ever match in French Open. And when he will do it, I think that it will be in hands of Dominic Thiem, and maybe he is also dangerous. He is a player who reminds me of suddenly Jannik Sinner. What kind of power that guy has. So effortless power from his both wings, both forehand and backhand. He also will give Rafael Nadal big troubles in the future. We saw that already this year when he took, I believe, 11 games. He was one of only 2 players of taking most games in this year's French Open. The other player who took more games was only Diego Schwartzman in that semi-final. But Jannik Sinner, he really gave Rafael Nadal a run for his money in the 1st and 2nd set. So Jannik Sinner, because he has those tools that I believe, firepower, serve. The only thing that I'm not quite in love with Jannik Sinner, it is his movements. He's not super great of a mover, but he's not the greatest mover, Jannik Sinner. But he has the firepower. He has the serve. He has pretty good returns. Not great, but pretty good, decent at least. But forehand, backhand, they are unbelievable. He can hit through Rafael Nadal. He just needs to be more consistent. He needs just to he just needs to be more just keep improving year by year. And when he gets 21, 22, 23 years old, he also will defeat Rafael Nadal in French Open. But I think Dominic Thiem is Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger in French Open. And after Dominic Thiem, it is Jannik Sinner. No one of the other players I see defeating Rafael Nadal in French Open. No one of the other players, they don't stand a chance against Rafael Nadal. Just forget them. So that's it, guys. Rafael Nadal's biggest challenger in French Open is Dominic Thiem, and when Rafa will lose his 3rd ever match in French Open, I think it will be on hands on Dominic Thiem. He has everything, Dominic Thiem. He has everything. He can do it. I really believe he can do it. He needs all he needs is to be consistent on that day, well rested on that day, and just keep his game together on that day. If he does that, he will take Rafael Nadal down in the future. When that will be, I don't know. I don't think in 2021. I just don't think. I believe it will be more in 2022 or in 2023. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and bye-bye.